Will you lead me to paradise?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Curtis, and today I'm going to review Sistas Season 9, Episode 3. The episode begins with Andy and Sabrina screaming for someone to come into the room to help Karen. Dr. Vaughn rushes into the room, pulls out his flashlight, lifts Karen's eyelid, and tells him that it is a cold blue. He tells them that they need to leave the room right now so that way he can perform an emergency C-section. Sabrina and Andy actually ignore him and continue to try to wake Karen up. Dr. Vaughn speaks up again and tells him that if he does not perform the emergency C-section right now, Karen is probably going to die. Sabrina wants to stay, but Andy tells her that that would not be a good idea because they're just going to get in the doctor and the nurse's way. It does take a few moments, but Sabrina does eventually agree to leave the room. The ladies go out into the hallway and they are greeted by Danny and Fatima. Sabrina tells them that Karen is unconscious, and Danny is confused because she's like, how could she be unconscious? Andy tells them that her heart rate dropped really quickly, and that is how she went unconscious. She goes on to say that the doctor is performing emergency surgery, and Danny and Fatima are visibly shaken up. Sabrina tells them that she wants to go back in the room and starts walking towards the door. Danny and Andy grab her and tell her that she needs to get it together and let the doctors handle it, and I agree. Fatima tells them that she is going to go find Zach so she can tell him what's going on. Annie tells Sabrina and Danny that she will meet them in the waiting room a little bit later. She walks forward, stops, and starts staring at something or at someone. The ladies ask her if she's good. She says yes. Then she walks away, and I'm like, who or what is she staring at? The nurse from the previous episodes walks up to Sabrina, Danny, Fatima, and asks them do they know who is next of kin, and the ladies are confused. Karen's mom walks up just as they're talking, and the nurse asks her if Karen has a medical will, because they need to know if she has a do not resuscitate clause. Karen's mom asks her if her daughter is still alive. She tells her that she is alive, but she's currently fighting for her and her baby's lives. She asks her if she would like for them to perform CPR, and of course she says yes, and I felt so bad for her mom in that moment. After this, we see Andy again, and she's walking towards that punk-ass bitch, Dr. Cruz. He tells her that he does not have anything to say to her because he is no longer assigned to Karen. Andy starts going in on him about the way that he has treated Karen, and it becomes quite apparent that he still does not give a single fuck about Karen, Andy, or the rest of them. He tells her that he is not responsible for catering to people's feelings, and that she needs to worry less about him and more about Karen, then walks away. And this is when Tyler Perry decided that he was going to stretch this episode out as far as he could. And when I say stretch, he stretched the remaining 40 plus minutes out of this episode because, fun fact, everything that I just mentioned before happened within the first 5 minutes. So I'm going to try to stretch this review out as much as I can, but I can't promise anything. Sabrina and Danny are sitting in the waiting room and they're having a conversation about the day that they had, prior to them getting to the hospital. Danny tells Sabrina that Tony may have to go to Alaska because of her settlement. Sabrina tells her that she caught Rich cheating on her at the juice bar with Penelope. Sabrina asks Danny if she'll be willing to move to Alaska. Danny tells her that she would not be willing to move to Alaska because she is a warm-blooded bitch that does not want to be around penguins. And I busted out laughing because I'm like, why would she say something like that? And it's at this time that Rich starts calling back to back, and Danny answers the phone and starts going off on him. She tells him that she's going to get in contact with the health department to let them know that he was having sex at the bar. And also she's going to add the fact that the place smells like Freaknik and beard oil. And then she hangs up and blocks him. Fatima finally finds Zach, and he tells her that the doctor already told him what's going on. Zach starts to get emotional because he's scared that Karen and his baby are going to die. Fatima comforts him and also acknowledges that she knows that Zach cares and loves Karen. He thanks her for being understanding. He walks over to Aaron, who appears to be more nervous and frantic than Zach in this moment. Zach is able to calm him down. The two of them end up praying about the situation, and then Karen's mom walks up to them and tells them that she was able to convince, air quotes, convince the staff to let her come into the room during the C-section. Later that night, Zach comes rushing to the room that Fatima is in. He starts kicking things, he starts flailing his arms around, and I knew at that point that it was his baby that did not make it, which honestly did not surprise me because, Tyler Perry shows and movies are quite predictable, and so I kind of saw that coming. Fatima rushes over to him to see what's going on. He tells her that he feels responsible for everything that's happening. She tells him that he is not responsible and that it's not his fault. He starts to become hysterical and begins screaming, why? He tells her that it's not fair, and he's right, it's not fair. Because if it wasn't for that damn blackout, that fucking doctor, and that bitch at the front desk, none of this would be happening. Andy, Sabrina, and Danny are eventually able to go back into the room. And we see that Karen is alive, and we also see that her stomach is flat. Dr. Vaughn comes in and she asks him where are her babies. And it's at this time that Karen finds out that one of her babies did not make it. And I felt so bad for Karen in this moment. I mean, I felt bad for her this entire time, but I really felt bad for her in this moment. She asks him which baby did not make it, and they tell her that it was Zach's that did not make it. And he tells her that she is able to hold her daughter that did not make it. And I'll be honest with you all, I personally would have said no because I would have became overwhelmed with that situation. Like that image probably would have been engraved in my brain forever. So I would have chose not to, but she does agree to do so. She holds the baby and she names the baby Forever. And I was just like, damn, this sucks. And that was the end of the episode. I really do appreciate you all watching. If you could, please like, comment, share, subscribe. That would be great. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Bye.